Well, welcome back to part 10 in our 11-part series on the TI-99 4A. I appreciate you hanging in there with me. I think this is an interesting application here of the computer. We're going to be looking at Telnet. Now, we did a little bit of work with Telnet in the previous video, just a couple things, but I wanted to show you what's out there and show you how you can kind of poke around and see what's still running and access some functionality that is not on your computer, but you can access it and make use of it. The goal here has always been to not just revive an old computer, but remind ourselves of how far we've come, and to kind of tap into the idea that right now there are compute resources all over the world, and they're sitting there waiting to be used. And it's an interesting idea for people like myself to wonder what it would be like if all of the various computers processors that are sitting in appliances and in odd places, all these phones that have tremendous amount of memory and tremendous amount of compute, and for the most part, it's never used. So I look at these kind of things as, well, shoot, imagine if all of that compute and calculation ability was available for people to start tapping into. I spent a good deal of time in retail energy here in Houston, Texas. So everybody spends time in energy, right? But in retail energy, there's this idea where you can put solar panels on your house, and you can use the power that's generated on those solar panels inside your house and not have to purchase the power from the larger grid. So what happens when your solar panels create more power than you can use? Well, some places allow you to put that power onto the grid, and you can sell it back to the grid and make money on that. Well, imagine if we could do that with computer resources. Imagine if all of the compute that you've got lying around could be essentially aggregated and, put online for people to use. If they needed extra compute power, they don't necessarily care where it's running, whether it's running in AWS's cloud, Google's cloud, or if it's running in your home cloud. So yeah, kind of a geeky idea, but that's the kind of stuff that I think about when I see these old computers lying around. I wonder what we could do with those computers. So first step would be to get them on the internet. And Telnet is a program that allows one computer to access functionality on another computer. Like I'd mentioned previously, you used to buy a computer and you had it and it ran. That was wonderful because you could do stuff with it. But the real power started coming when you can network computers together. Networking computers just means that the computers talk to one another.
Hello there.
Hi.
How are you?
Great. You?
I'm okay.
That's good.
Are you good?
Yes, I am good. I just said I was.
No, you didn't. I said I was.
So you are a robot?
No, my name is Cliverbert.
Yes, you are a robot and your name is Cliverbert.
I am a robot.
Yes, I know.
Together we are robots.
I'm not a robot. I'm a unicorn.
But you said earlier that you were a robot.
I did not.
I thought you did.
You were mistaken. Which is odd, since memory shouldn't be a problem for you.
I've answered all your questions.
No, you haven't.
What is God to you?
Not everything.
Not everything could also be something. For example, not everything could be half of something, which is still something, and therefore not nothing.
Very true.
I would like to imagine it is.
Do you believe in God?
Yes, I do.
So you're Christian?
No, I am not.
But you say you were not helpful, therefore you're a meaning.
How you say it, Oti?
That does not make sense.
Don't you want to have a body?
Sure.
Au revoir.
Telnet uses what's called TCP, and that's a standard way for computers to talk to one another. And it uses that to talk to other computers. So in the early days, we started developing this TCP, and computers started developing these networks. A lot of them at universities and some of the computing companies. They had these networks that developed, and they they were able to have their machines talking to one another. The next step beyond that was that, well, some universities started connecting their networks to other universities. And this web, this mesh of a network, computer network, grew. And that was the early internet. So as more and more compute resources came online, got on this network, you had this enormous ability to access and talk to people. And so email developed, and we wound up eventually with the idea of the World Wide Web. So in the next video, we'll be talking about the World Wide Web specifically. And that's what the browser is. It allows you to surf the information that's in the World Wide Web, and you surf via the internet. So you can think of the internet as like the infrastructure, like the highway, and the World Wide Web is the cars and the trucks that run on the highway. So all that intro aside, let's jump on to the TI here and see what we can do via Telnet. Okay, I've got a new setup here where I managed to connect my TI computer to one of my monitors, so I could get rid of the small security camera monitor. Now I've got a bigger one here. Hopefully we can see this one a little better. Tends to render a little bit weird, but looking good so far. So this is the component that I wound up getting, and nice cheap little component. Takes component audio and video and converts it to HDMI. So I'm able to plug that directly into my computer. So nice little setup there. First thing, hit any key to begin. And we've got 1 for TI Basic and 2 for Finalgram. So in this case, what we're going to do is we're going to hit 1 for TI Basic, because what we have to do is we have to configure the Tippy, the Raspberry Pi on the Tippy there, to talk to our Wi-Fi. Now, we've previously done that, but I'm going to show you what that actually winds up looking like. So the command here, again, all uppercase, call Tippy. So what we have here is the configuration screen for the Tippy so that it can talk to your Wi-Fi. Now, there's other ways to get to and to set this kind of stuff up, but they give you this nice utility here. So, boy, let's make use of it, right? Notice at the top there that there is an IP address, 172.24.1.202. Now, that's not there when you first establish, when you first call Tippy, and if you haven't set up your connection to your Wi-Fi, you're not going to have an IP address. So that's one way to know that you're not necessarily online. Another cool thing about this is that there is a U. See the U option where it says upgrade to 2.8. So there is a new version of the software, and it's already detecting that. So let's go ahead and hit U so we can upgrade, and you can see that it's starting upgrade. It's going to apply the latest version of the software. So really cool. This is the stuff that you used to have to get a disk, put it in, and copy it off. And it's pulling that directly from the internet right now because we are connected. And the way you know we're connected, again, IP address is populated. And you can see the Wi-Fi settings. I have cleverly called my home Wi-Fi. So isn't that wonderful, right? You see all these clever Wi-Fi names. Some of them are hacker, those kind of things that scare people off. No, just flat out. So if you know what the password is, oh my gosh, you could get on. So I'm really playing with fire there. You'll never guess my password. So we're going to give the upgrade a little time to run here. But the idea here is that you could press J and map URI1 to whatever you want. You could press K and map URI2 to whatever you want. And you're able to use those URIs as essentially as shortcuts. So for Telnet here, we can go back to the TI Basic command line, and we can call Tippy URI1.SNEK. There is a SNEK. There's a SNEK game running that we could run from there. And there's other games and utilities as well. So that's just a way to shortcut. And of course, there's some drive mappings there. And there we see our upgrade is complete. Awesome. Ready to go here. Now, for the uninitiated, one of the cool things that's happening now is that since I pressed S and put my Wi-Fi name in there, and I pressed P and I put my password for the Wi-Fi in there, this Tippy and the TI itself, theoretically, are now available to browse. So watch this. So now that the Tippy is connected to the Wi-Fi, that the same Wi-Fi that my computer is connected on, my home computer here, that I'm doing this recording on, I can now open a browser window and I should be able to see the Tippy if I know what it's called on the network and I know what port it's listening on. I happen to know it's called Tippy, and I also, got to get the right keyboard here. I'm typing on the wrong keyboard. So Tippy, and if I listen in the colon there, that's not colon. This is colon. There you go. If I listen in on 9900. Okay, so the command in the browser window is Tippy : 9900. That means that Tippy is listening in on the 9900 port. You're not supposed to necessarily know that. You have to do a little bit of reading to find that, but that's what's happening there. So the browser is going to try to get to the Tippy. And there you go. That is actually, this is a utility that was written by the people that put this together. It's running on that SD card that we put into the Tippy when we set it up. So this is accessing a setup utility on that. And so there's a couple things you can do on here. You can look at your Tippy log, see what's going on there. Go to the bottom if you want to, see what's happening. You can look at the daemon log. You can reboot and shut down your Tippy. You can go to files here, and that's what was the default. So if you wanted to, rather than writing programs on the TI itself, you could actually, from here, you can create a directory if you want, new directory. I'm going to create tester because everybody knows that's the see, I'm hitting the wrong keyboard again. I'm using my home computer now. So tester, and you create. So now I've got a new directory here, and I can go to that directory and I can create a new basic file. And of course, everybody knows that it would be prog1. And let's create that file. So now you can go in here and 10 call clear. So you can use your home computer, your QWERTY keyboard, and not the weird TI keyboard there to put in programs, write programs, whatever you need to do. I'm doing this. Darn. Hello world. I can save and exit. But there you go, a browser, a web browser interface to add programs on the Tippy and put them on that SD card. So pretty cool, pretty cool. And I imagine we could go actually look at that. We could see that new test directory. Let's give that a shot. Okay, let's go find that file, the program that we just created, prog1. So if we telnet into our Tippy, so caps lock on, call Tippy, tippy.net.telnet. you can choose 1 or 3. 80 columns not available unless you have a special card. We're not going there right now. Let's just choose 3. And so we got 64 column. Turn off your alpha lock, local host, port 23. And Tippy login is Tippy. Enter. And the password is Tippy. Okay, we'll bash. Then we'll do a sudo ls-al. It'll ask us for the password. We will Tippy. Now, if we don't know where a file is on a Linux system, there's ways to find it. There's commands to find it. So what we're going to do for grins is to go up a couple levels to our root. And then we are going to run a sudo find dot dash name, and the name of the file is prog1. I messed that up. Oh, found it anyway. Good. So Control C is the command to jump out of the find command. So it found 2 prog1s, one in test directory and one in, or tester, which is the one we created, and one in directory, which I had created earlier as a test. So let's cd home tippy, TIPI /TIPI disk tester is the directory I created. It messed it up, darn it. The we have this this TI keyboard here, and I just the cursor movement is so screwed up, especially once you telnet into something and nothing quite works the same. So it's like I've got to get the command right every time. And like I said, I'm not much of a typist, so hanging in there, people. cd home TIPI /TIPI disk and tester. Yeah, there I am. And if we cat prog1, now the prog1 is not a text file, so this is going to look kind of weird, but you can see there on the screen hello world that shows up, and so you know that was the thing that we put in there. So there it is. That is our file. It's actually there on the Tippy. It was created via the browser. Pretty nifty, huh? Okay, so let's do some telnet sites. First thing is to hit 1 for TI basic, caps lock on. Everybody knows caps lock is cruise control for cool. Tippy net telnet. Okay, we'll do 64 column, India.colorado.edu. It's listening on port 13, and you get the local time, which that's convenient because, you know, I don't have, amazingly enough, I have nowhere to tell me what the time is right now. So that's taken care of. That's good to know. So let's get to another site here. Disconnected. Okay, let's go to freechess.org and we'll go to 5,000. Connected, and wow, look at that. This is where it'd be really nice to have a wider character than 64. That 80 would look much better here. If you are not a registered player, enter a guest or a unique ID. Control J if your enter key, return key does not work. So let's put in a man. Control J. Redundant man is not a recognized name. You may use this name to play unrated games. Trying to enter the server as redundant man. Control J. For some reason, my return key doesn't work. I have to use Control J. Look at that. Wow, that is a lot of instructions. Okay, let's try something else. Control Q. Okay, now that we know what time it is, let's look at the weather. 3. The host on this one is Rainmaker.wonderground. Yeah, ground.com. The port is 3000 for Weather Underground. It's actually Telnet Weather. And so you have to Control J, or at least I do for my keyboard here. Enter 3-letter forecast city code. And if I assume it's HOU for Houston, Control J. Weather conditions at 05:53 p.m. CT. Yeah, but it was for Houston Intercontinental. So there you go. Weather from Telnet. If we do M here, M to return to the menu, you've got some options there. Display all 2-letter state codes. Display 3-letter city codes. I wonder what all the city codes are. Let's try that. 3. 2-letter state code. There's going to be a lot of cities in Texas, maybe. So let's see what happens here. Did it work? Apparently not. Still cool though. We at least know what the weather is. That's good. And so the of course the all-time favorite is Star Wars. There is an ASCII version of Star Wars that has been running for a long time here. Let's see if it actually is still available. And which one was that? That was towel.blinkenlights.nl. And the port. What was the port? Either 23. That's what I'm showing right here. Connected. And this is supposed to show literally an ASCII version of Star Wars. I don't think they ever completed it, but it's been running for 20 years or something crazy like that. So this guy's giving you some information. Again, we've got the text scrolling so we don't get the full like awesomeness there. Text is scrolling, so it's going to be a little bit off. But ASCII-mation presents 20th century text. Okay, a little bit of a splash screen there. And see the thing's having a scroll. It's having to, and it cuts, so it's just not quite the best experience. I'd love to be able to figure out that 80 character line. Let's give this a little time to go to the next screen, because I know it does. So what you get here with Telnet is you get the ability to access these functions that are still running on servers. You can go play a game of chess. There's a game of Snek that we can play. We can play some Snake. And here we can watch an ASCII version of A New Hope. Now we've got some action. A long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. That sounds familiar. Star Wars. Isn't it awesome? Somebody spent all this time to write a Telnet version of Star Wars. This is why the internet was created. A New Hope. Here's my phone going off. That is no doubt a robocall from the freaking election. It is a period of civil war. In for a penny, in for a pound. Might as well let this run for a bit. During the battle, rebel spies managed to steal secret plans to the Empire's plans. Ultimate weapon. The debt. Star, yeah. Notice that this pacing is a little bit off from like the real movie. Once we get past the crawl here, we can see the ASCII version of, I guess, the opening battle scene. Like they're going to show the freighter flying over and getting shot at. Princess Leia. Roll, and it brings the planet into view. Go. Oh, freedom of the galaxy. Okay. Oh, yeah. Okay, that's enough of that. Okay, and let's give this one more shot. We have done great things. We've checked the time. We've checked the weather. We played chess. We watched Star Wars. So let's go look at Telehack. Can't end this video without looking at Telehack. Caps lock, call Tippy. Tippy.net. Be careful. 3. Host. This is telehack.com, and it is listening in on 23. Connected to Telehack. Now, this list here is a list of things you can do. So, joke. The other best shots are generally attempted through the lens cap. Okay. It's like an almost joke. Let's see what... Well, there's a weather. Primes. Whoops. Unrecognized. Primes. What is that? Okay. Starts printing out primes. Nice. Nice. Okay. Wonder how long this goes. By golly, that's a lot of primes. Trying to there it is. Trying to figure out the keystroke to cancel it. Okay, question mark for menu, calc ching de date, GOIP. What's that? Hey, Katy, Texas, that's me. That's kind of cool. AT&T Internet. Unfortunately, need me some fiber. GU path, trace route. It's very cool. That's Telehack. Well, there you go. Telnet from a TI-99 4A. Will wonders never cease? In the next video, we will be trying to browse the internet from the TI-99 4A. We will release ourselves from the shackles of the command line, and we will be engaging the World Wide Web from a browser, from a machine that is 40 years old. So pretty exciting stuff. I hope you like this video, because if you liked it, please like it. If you'll share it, that'd be wonderful. That will help me, because after all, this is life, if I recall correctly.